I'll give you a prime example. Look at Kimopra. Kimopra left 2 weeks in. And Kim worked. She worked and worked and worked and worked. I'm not talking about that work. I hate everybody. You are mad. You can all see the work that Kim put in.
Alright guys, thanks everyone. I know a lot of you had to make our time for this short notice. Thanks for giving us a great season wherever you've been featured.
Got to watch EBUKA'S interview with the star boys of the Big Brother Bbnaija show, and I finally understand why Laycon was being dragged the whole of last week. As a matter of fact, since that interview first dropped on YouTube, guys, Laycon was a lot. Laycon was a lot, not a bit much, but a lot. Laycon was a lot, and I'm going to be sharing my perception about the entire interview, the entire conversation on this particular episode of Frankly Speaking with Bbnaija. So please watch to the end of this video. If you've seen the interview, I wouldn't mind, getting your own opinion about what you think of it in the comment section below. If you haven't seen the interview, I really encourage you to go ahead and watch it, especially if you are a Big Brother enthusiast like myself. So just go ahead and watch that video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section of my video. And before I get into my analysis, I want to first of all apologize to all of you for my impromptu going MIA from YouTube for a couple of days. Yes, I think for 2 days or 3 days. Yes, guys, I missed you guys so much. I missed our conversations. I missed uploading videos, and it's because I've been so busy. I've been all over the place, guys. There's been a lot happening, but I'm grateful that I'm able to do this video. Courtesy of those of you amazing folks that kept on sending me messages that, oh, Glory, you talked about the female version of EBUKA'S interview. You've not talked about the male version. What do you think? What do you think about Laycon's attitude during the interview? Guys, it's all because of you. I watched the interview and I have a lot to say. So I'm going to be spilling the tea on this particular video. So just go ahead and watch, okay? And if you are new on this channel, you're welcome. If this is your first time of watching my video, thank you so much for clicking to watch. You are especially welcome to this family. Yes, if you haven't subscribed, it's quite easy and it's free. Hit the red subscribe button to become a part of this amazing family. If you always want to receive a lot of my videos, you can simply search for Frankly Speaking with Bbnaija on YouTube, or search for Bbnaija, or just simply hit the white bell button. It's called the post notification bell. Once you do that, whenever I upload a new video, you'll be the first to receive a lot of my videos whenever I upload. And then lastly, guys, tomorrow is Saturday. You know what happens on here. We're going to be having our FSWG Saturday YouTube live stream. We'll call it our family meetings. So if you don't want to miss out, make it a date with us by 3 p.m. WAT. Invite people. There's a lot to talk about. Big Brother Bbnaija Season 7 is around the corner. It's just next week. I mean, just a few days away. So we have a lot to discuss. So guys, make it a date with us tomorrow. Do not miss out. All of that said, now let's quickly get into this video. So I'm gonna try as much as possible not to beat about the bush with this one. I'm just gonna go straight to the point and hit the nail on the head. Number one, EBUKA deserves some accolades for this particular interview with the boys. And I say so because, Jesus Christ, it takes a lot of professionalism. It takes a lot of long years of training for self-control, for, I don't know how to put it, but the way EBUKA was able to handle Laycon's excesses, Laycon's talkativeness during this particular interview, guys, it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied. I was asking myself, Glory, if you were in EBUKA'S shoes on that round table, how would you have condoned Laycon's excesses? And guys, don't get me wrong, Laycon was really cute. I mean, his talkativeness, it was kind of funny, and sometimes it was a bit much. It was almost to the point of irritation. And I think towards the interview on the part 2, Laycon, I think he had an episode, kind of a breakdown, because he had to leave. There was a point that he couldn't really talk anymore, looking at people straight in the eyes, so he had to be looking down while he was talking. I think he was exhausted and probably short of breath, and he had to leave. And EBUKA said at the end of the interview that, oh, he has to go and check up on Laycon. I hope he was really okay on that day. But off that, Laycon was a lot. It was a lot. And that was just, it just summed up why people were really dragging him. Because people were really dragging Laycon. They really dragged this guy that, oh, during Big Brother Naija lockdown season, dude, you were not really this talkative. And now, all of a sudden, because you are the winner, you are now talking a lot. Now, I mean, I see where people were coming from, but for those people who really watched the show, Laycon was actually a talkative in the house during the lockdown season. He was a talkative. He talked a lot. Yes, we just did not really see a lot of scenes where Laycon was doing a lot of talking, but for those scenes where we saw Laycon having conversations with people, Laycon talked a lot. He talked a lot, almost to the point of annoyance sometimes, yes. But that's aside. I'm talking about Ebuka. You see, Ebuka's self-control needs to be studied, because there were times during the interview that Ebuka will be asking questions and Laycon will be like, oh, let me talk. And everybody will be like, dude, you've been talking. We've given you the floor, you've been talking. And TOBI Bakare was literally entering Laycon from left, right, and center. And I just could not blame TOBI, because he did it a lot. When Ebuka would ask FRODD questions and FRODD would want to respond, Laycon would jump in. He kept on interjecting. Guys, similar to what Bisola was doing during the girls' conversation with Ebuka, Laycon was doing double the dose of that. And sometimes it was funny, sometimes it was cute, and sometimes it was just plain annoying and irritating. However, I loved the way the guys actually handled Laycon's excesses, inclusive of Ebuka. Yes, Ebuka really handled it well. I mean, really well. It was very, very professional. There was never a time that Ebuka's facial expression or even body language actually shifted for 1 second, in irritation or annoyance of Laycon's excesses. As a matter of fact, he was able to just condone it, as part of the cruise of the conversation they were having. And then for the guys, I loved the fact that they treated Laycon, with this beautiful fondness, like, oh, he's our younger brother, he's just being himself, so they were just bantering, they were just cruising. Basically, they were just cruising. So I was surprised that the atmosphere I saw on that interview was totally different from what I was seeing on Twitter, because people were getting almost toxic about it. People were even dragging TOBI, that, oh, TOBI, why would you say this about Laycon? I'm like, how is it that people failed to see the humor in all of this? How is it that people failed to see that these guys were just having a great time? They were just having a great hangout with their older brother, Ebuka, both literally and in the game wise. Because as we're all aware, Ebuka is also an amazing, fantastic product of the Big Brother franchise. Yes, he emerged from the first ever season of Big Brother Naija, which was called Big Brother Nigeria in that time. I think that was 2006, as Ebuka clarified on the show. So that was a long time ago, and this was just like a catch-up for all of them. So I was just really amazed at how people were just choking on all the toxicity, and I'm like, guys, ladies, breathe. It's not that deep. Breathe. They were having fun. They were having realistic conversations. Anyways, another interesting thing I observed from that conversation is that all the guys on that table, they had one thing in common, which Ebuka also mentioned. Now, each and every one of them, during their season of the Big Brother Naija show, they were entangled, they were caught up in one form of entanglement or the other, either by shipping, either by rejection, either by acceptance, but they all had that one thing in common. And in their relationship, there was one theme, which was the theme of rejection. Now, I know so for the likes of, what's his name now, Leo and TOBI from the Double Wahala season, yes, they were caught up between the likes of Sisi and Alex. And then there was FRODD and ELO from the Pepper Them Gang season. The Pepper Them Gang season is the Tacha and Mercy season. Now for FRODD, his love interest at that point in time was Esther. Esther really showed that guy shaggy. That FRODD was crying every single time like a baby. What we used to say back then was that, oh, FRODD is one man that is really in tune with his emotions. He humanized, his emotions, and that made people fall in love with his personality. And he also won the ultimate veto power during that time where he swapped, I think, Diane, and then he put up Tacha, but then Diane got evicted and Tacha got disqualified. Yes, so that was that. And then for ELO there was Diane in the picture. Diane was in love with someone, guys. I can't remember. There was also this Ghanaian actor that Diane had a huge crush on, that during the reunion we heard a lot about that dynamics, guys. So it was quite interesting. And then from the lockdown season, we had Laycon, whose love interest at that point in time was Erica. Guys, we all know what happened. Yes, Laycon won, Erica got disqualified. Erica was with Kidwaya, all of that shenanigans that happened. And then between Prince and OZO, who were also present at that table from the lockdown season, there was Nengi and Dorothy. So I really gave Ebuka a huge thumbs up, for his choice of selection. In as much as I totally loved Ebuka's selection of the male housemates he had this conversation with, I also loved the fact that regardless of the fact that Ebuka was fully aware of the, should I say, the thing in common, the peculiarity that these people had or these people shared whilst they were still playing their game in Biggie's house, Ebuka did not really capitalize on that, to form his kind of questioning during the conversation. Trust me, even I as an interviewer, one way or the other, I just might be tempted to make reference to their relationships in the house. Although he did, but he did not really dwell on it. And I mean, people were wondering like, oh, why didn't Ebuka go into all those conversations, especially OZO's thing with Nengi, FRODD's thing about Esther, Laycon's thing about Erica. There was even a time that Laycon was going to bring up the conversation, and the rest of the guys, they quickly shunned that conversation. I really loved the fact that they did that because, hey, guy, it's been over how many years now? Die that conversation, just die it, nobody wants to go into it anymore because, hey, that conversation has been recycled over and over again, not just about Laycon's thing with Erica, but all the guys on that table. Yeah, that conversation had been recycled. People have talked about it, we have talked about it, we've analyzed it over and over again, we've sucked out every single drop of life from that conversation. So I just felt like, hey, it's no longer relevant. Yes, it makes up part of their game whilst they were still participating on Biggie's show, but it's over and done with. Yeah. So I loved the fact that the direction of the conversation, the direction of Ebuka's questions, it geared towards what the guys were all about now, about what they were, what plans they had for the future. It was mostly about giving them the platform to sell themselves. And trust me, they really did sell themselves. Listening to the likes of Leo speak, listening to the likes of SOMA, guys, to be honest, I did not really follow that Sigobe season of Big Brother Naija. SOMA was one of the participants, and according to Ebuka, SOMA was the first, I think he was one of the first persons that was impromptu evicted from the house. So he spent only 2 weeks in the house. So I loved listening to the likes of SOMA, the likes of Leo, the likes of TOBI Bakare, spilling about what they are all about. I mean, for the likes of, what's his name now? OZO, we still hear about OZO's, should I say, conquering of the world out here. But for those people I've mentioned, we do not really hear a lot about them. For the likes of Leo, most of the time, when I personally hear about Leo, it's always about one viral tweet he dropped on Twitter or one viral post he dropped on Instagram. The guy is always on these blogs for the wrong reasons. Yes, we rarely hear about his his big things that he's doing. So on this conversation with Ebuka, these guys, they really sold themselves, and also hearing from FRODD again about the amazing things he's doing at the moment, him being an all-rounder in business, of course, as an able man that he is. Guys, it was quite exciting. Now, most of the questions that Ebuka asked on this particular conversation are similar to those that he had asked the ladies during their own conversation. But there's this particular question Ebuka had asked. He had asked the guys if they regretted participating in their own season, looking at the terrain that we have now. And talking about terrain, Ebuka was referring to the number of viewerships that we have now, the audience, the brand sponsorship. I mean, guys, that question is really legit. And it's legit because we cannot compare the Shine Your Eye season of Big Brother Naija, the lockdown season, and the Pepper Dem Gang season of Big Brother Naija to the Sigobe season and the Double Wahala season, and even the first season of Big Brother Naija. Because take for instance, as Ebuka said, The season 1 of the show did not even have a name. It did not even have a theme like the other ones. The Sigobe season was not really competitive like that because they did not really have a yardstick to fall back on. Yes, the Double Wahala season, not really. You might say that they had a bit of a yardstick to fall back on. You know, they could really take 1 or 2 lessons from the Sigobe season. But the Pepper Them Gang season, the Lockdown season, the Shine Your Eye season, guys, we've seen the increase, the massive increase in the number of viewerships. Yes, people are watching now all across Africa, all across the globe, to be honest. Yes, and then there's the brands who need more publicity that are leveraging on the platform, you know, to make their noise, to make themselves seen, to gain and buy more visibility via the platform itself and via the housemates themselves, you know, after the show, via endorsements, signing different housemates as influencers. I mean, guys, we are seeing the influx of activities. Everything is on a very, very fast pace now, moving forward. There's no housemate that emerges from the Big Brother Naija platform that does not in one way or the other benefit. And they all agreed that if they knew what they knew now, they probably would have preferred to participate on the show now and not back then at the time when they participated. For the likes of Neo, who participated in the Double Wahala season, as at the time he was signing his contract, he had seen that the number of viewers of the show was at about 60 million. But now if you look at it, guys, you and I know that it's over 100 million viewers. Yes, people are more aware of the show. People are now fans and fanatics of the show. People are excited about the show. People are intentionally supporting who they want to support. People are now very, very intentional about their investments in the show. It's now huge, guys. It's huge. In the whole of Africa, it is huge. So just as Ebuka had questioned the females about the gender advantage that the Big Brother Naija show comes with, that the Big Brother show itself comes with, he had also asked the guys the same question, and they had all agreed that, to be very honest, it seems as though the show is more beneficial to the females. Because take, for instance, when the season is over, you see that in 1 week, in 1 month, many of the female housemates, they're driving cars as gifted to them by people, you know, here and there. They're traveling, they're conquering, they're starting up businesses, they're doing things. Now, whilst we were all talking, guys, I felt like Leo was the one person that really spoke my mind on that particular topic. Yes, first of all, he said that people should not be deceived by what they see on social media. Somebody might likely buy a car and their bank account is empty. That is one thing. Now, another person might come up and claim that, oh, my fan base bought me this car or this house. But then it could also turn out to be that it is one person somewhere that bought it for them. And guys, even though people are asking, oh, does Leo have a receipt? You and I know that these things happen. And it's not like it's a crime. It's not like there's anything wrong about it. But what is wrong about it, in my opinion, is the deception that comes with it. Why come out to lie that, oh, your fans actually bought you this thing, if it turns out to be one particular person that just admires you and loves the fact that you participated on such a show, that, you know, went out of their way to buy you this thing. But that's on the side, guys. The point is, the guys actually did agree that it seems as though that is how the show is, you know, because the females get more support. And for the likes of TOBI, Bakare, and OZO, the women have a whole lot to sell. There's hair, there's waist trainers, there's skincare products, there's beauty products that they all sell. Yeah, these are things that the male housemates are not likely to have access to sell. And he also talked about the Big Brother tag. Oh yes, because you went into Big Brother's house does not mean that you can actually function properly in a particular industry. Prince was talking about the likes of Laycon, who, because he won, you know, the lockdown season of the show, he has a lot of struggles in the Nigerian music industry because some of his fellow music artists, they feel like he is not really deserving of the amount of publicity that his music is getting. Then Leo also shared his own story of the false impression, the false narrative that certain persons had of him. One time he had been in Kano State, one of the northern parts of Nigeria, you know, to give a talk during an event. You know, people had felt like, oh, because you participated on Big Brother Bbnaija, people that participate on the show are not really intellectual, they're not really intelligent like that. And then after his speech, people had actually, gravitated towards him because they realized that, oh, this guy actually does have a lot, in his head. So for him, the Big Brother tag, it's not really much of a big deal for him because it gives him more room to prove people wrong about who he truly is. I also love ELO's perspective, that for one to be able to participate on Big Brother as a show, you have to be mentally strong. You have to be very, very intellectual. You have to be very, very intelligent because you are going into a show like that unscripted, without a script. The drama that people are expecting you to bring, you're doing it without direction. So you're just doing it off the top of your head. Every single thing, every single piece of entertainment value that you're bringing to the show, you are doing it off the top of your head. Nobody's giving you a script on how to act, on how to behave, So guys, these men, they really did say a lot. I mean, it was a very insightful conversation. And I loved the fact that Ebuka allowed them, to share, to express themselves, to tell us those things that us as the viewers, we do not really know, right? We just see these people as pieces of entertainment factories. Yes, we do not really know their struggles. And they did share a lot of their struggles on that particular conversation. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'm encouraging you all to go ahead and watch it. But if you have watched it, just let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. And this is where I'm going to end this video. I don't want to make it too lengthy. I think it's lengthy already, but I will see you guys on tomorrow's YouTube live stream. Do not forget to attend. Do not forget to come through. All right. That said, do enjoy the rest of your Friday and have an amazing evening. Bye.